Hi guys, welcome to Let's Talk BD, the official podcast of the BD School, the first educational platform entirely dedicated to business development. Here we interview business development professionals working in the field every day, as well as startup founders, so they can give you all the insights, tips, and best practices to help you become a better business development professional. Let's get ready for the next episode. Hi everyone, I'm Lucia and I'm your host. Today with me there is Maria. Hi Maria.
Hi Lucia. Hi.
Maria actually is one of our former students and also business development mentors. She's also an amazing networker, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So without further ado, Maria, let's talk BD. Can you tell us more about you?
Of course. First of all, thanks for having me here. I'm happy to be your guest, and hello everybody. I am Maria Cozza, and I am a business development manager for a creative agency here in Rome. I'm also working on a side project, which I'm going to launch in April with a friend of mine, but I can't reveal more right now. But I hope I will share it with you very, very soon, I hope. And of course, as you said, I'm a mentor at the BD School. This amazing school and community of business developers from all over the world. I'm originally from Crotone, a small city in the south of Italy. And I moved here to Rome when I was 18 in order to study business administration at La Sapienza University. Thanks to my graduation thesis, I was recruited by one of the major telco operators in Italy. They were building, designing an office focused on innovative services in the public and regulatory affairs department. And so I've started my career in lobbying, basically. After 2 years there and then another year in a business association participated by telco operators and companies from the electronics industry, after a year, I decided that I want to, change my perspective, and I've started working with small companies, with startups mainly. Then I was hired by a B2B language school and translation agency, where I worked for 7 years. After a few months there, I've started coordinating the translation department, and then they offered me the role of business development manager. And I was happy, of course, for this promotion, but at the same time, I was scared because I didn't know what business development was or what a business development manager had to do. But I focused on my skills or my experience, and I realized that my main experience was networking and building relationships, which, yes, maybe is something that you develop naturally, but it comes from the experience I had in lobbying, of course. So this is basically my story. Now I'm working for this creative agency and I'm very happy. And that's it.
Nice. And what do you do in your regular job? And by the way, so I'm sure that all the people listening here can totally relate to the fact that they also maybe don't know what they're doing. I know that it was the case for me when I first started in business development. It was more like, let's figure it out together. But yeah, that's I can relate totally.
Yes, it's something that it happens very often. We as business developers don't have usually a peculiar training for the job, and sometimes there is also a misunderstanding. Someone calls you and offered you the role of business development, but instead they want something else, or they don't know what business development is. So it happens to be a bit spaced out about the job. And that's why at the beginning, of course, I focused on my skills. Then you have to study, you have to improve the other skills you don't have and your experience and so on. So maybe studying is one of the normal thing that I do every day. It's strange because I don't have a task that I have to do repeatedly. I don't have a very strict schedule every day. So it's up to me, basically. And it depends on what happened or on what problem I have to focus, on what solution I have to focus. And so it depends. But there is a specific time that I schedule every day, which is dedicated to studying. I don't know, the market, analyzing the market, the competitors. And that's a part that I like the most. Since we, as a creative agency, but also in the translation agency, we sell services to potentially every kind of client. I usually spend some time studying also different markets and different companies. So this is a way not only to discover something about new clients, but it's also something that can inspire you, can give you motivation, and can give you ideas. It's like lateral thinking. And then, of course, there are other tasks like call potential clients, try to reach out, or finding out different strategies, because due to this misunderstanding, you think that with business development you have to increase sales, and so everything is about clients. That's true partially, because there is something else, like for instance, finding partners or finding ways to improve a service. I often collaborate with other colleagues in other departments in order to understand if there is a solution or if there is an impact that I can bring. Sometimes it's just to cut costs, for instance. It's not related to revenues. So it depends. I don't have a normal day. It depends. I'm very creative in this. So
nice. And you work for a creative agency, so that's nice.
Yes, I'm lucky. No, it's very very interesting, and that's, I think, the most beautiful part of our job. That we talk about business because it's what we can work on, but at the same time we have so many people that it's a job that sometimes doesn't look like a job. It's something that can really inspire you in your life. So I'm lucky. Yes.
Nice. That's something I can totally relate to. I always say that business development is not a job; it's a lifestyle. And I'm happy to hear that I'm not the only crazy one. Sometimes when I say it, I see people looking at me like, whoa, you really should get a life, But I'm like, no, but it's a mindset, it's how you look at things, and, whether you're able to spot opportunities. For me, it's fun to do it in every field, and it's really rewarding. So I'm happy to hear it's the same. So would you say that this is the thing you like the most about your business development job, or are there more things maybe?
No, there are many things. There are many things. I mean, it's not an easy job, so I don't want to say that it's, sort of tale I'm telling. No, it's a difficult job and sometimes very, very stressful. But there are many things that you can enjoy. One of the things that I like the most, and I don't know if this is because it's my field or it's my way of develop business, but the most rewarding thing is having so many relationships with different people. And that's why I like networking. It is the part of my job that I like the most, because I feel I'm not working when I network. So maybe networking is my favorite. Yes, my favorite.
Cool. And that's also, I mean, like one of the main things I wanted to talk about with you, because it's so guys, you have to know that when we did the training with her, of course, she was always the one doing the role plays with other students. And she's just so natural at it, it's just crazy. So please tell us more. How can you be such a good networker? How do you do that?
Well, I don't think there's a secret. I mean, there are some rules you have to follow. But the first and most important thing is that you have to be natural when you network. And I think that this maybe there is one secret, and the secret is that you have to consider networking in a different perspective, because we are accustomed to the idea that networking is a boring moment in which you try to find clients mainly. And that's the opposite. Networking is everything but finding clients. Because when you network, you are trying to just enlarge the group of people you can rely on. And this means that the perspective is the same that you use when you try to make an acquaintance in order to win a friend. So you're not looking for partners or clients, you're looking for friends. And that makes natural your attitude, of course, because you don't have a result you don't have anything to prove to anyone. It's just the pleasure to have a normal conversation with someone, to find out something that you don't know, because people are the main source of knowledge, and yes, and of course you have to focus also on the fact that this is a long-term process. You don't go to an event, meet a person, and the day after is your best friend. Of course, it doesn't happen this way. So you have to invest in relationship. And since I love having friends, for me,
Nice.
It's very easy.
That's good.
That's the secret, I think.
Nice. That's a really interesting perspective, because I'm part of those people. I'm really sociable, so for me it's not really a problem to make friends. But indeed, in all the conferences I've been in the past and so on, like, it was so stressful. And sometimes I really found myself, I was like in between two people talking, and then I had to interrupt them and enter in the conversation, and I was like, they must think that I'm a weirdo, or that I'm a freak or inappropriate, It was so stressful. So how do you get over that? Because sure, you're making friends, but you're still doing it for work, right? So how can you, win this fear of being awkward?
Well, I don't know. I mean, sometimes being awkward is not wrong. I don't know.
Okay.
No, I mean, I'm honest. Sometimes of course, you have to be professional if it is a professional event, but at the same time, you don't network only during professional events. And at the same time, during a professional event or a professional relationship with your colleagues, you make jokes with your colleagues. I mean, you're not a robot. You're a human being. And of course, people are inclined to humor or to sense of humor or to, a smiley face. So yes, of course, it depends on the kind of the event. But I see networking as something, larger than just relating it to working, because you never know. And I don't know if of course, it happened to everyone that a friend from childhood become a client or introduce you to a potential client. And at the same time, if you go and network, maybe you don't win a client, but you win someone who can be a sort of referral. So the difference is, I think, focusing on time. You don't have to, you have to make a good first impression, but you don't have to win in that moment. The relationship will be built in months or years. It doesn't matter, but the sooner you start, the sooner you'll have the result of this relationship. And also, I think that you have to focus on what you can do for the person you meet, because that's the key. Mm-hmm. So yes, it's difficult to break the ice when you meet someone. But if you have some information or something that's important for your interlocutor, you have a weapon. So for instance, if you go to a conference or to an event, you're very prepared on the speakers, the organization, the people who are organizing the event, or I don't know, the topic, for instance, you can give your help sharing information. Or if you don't know anything about that event and you ask for information, you will find someone who is willing to talk about their job, about their stuff, about things that they know. People is waiting for talking about
their
stuff that matters, So just a question, or just what brings you here. Everybody knows that it's not like in the street you're stopping someone like a crazy person. It's a place where you are allowed to do it, so it's pretty easy. Actually.
Nice. Do you have, because now you mentioned like what brings you here, and that's a sentence that sometimes I used as an icebreaker. Do you maybe have some icebreakers that you use all the times that they are, your magic stick, that they most of the times work?
It depends on the situation, of course. For instance, if you are attending a conference, maybe you're sitting and next to you there is a person, you can ask if they have already been there, or if they know the speaker, or if they know who organizes the conference, or if the most natural things that can open a conversation. If you are at a party, because it happens, you can network at parties, and I prefer this,
Same.
this occasion, of course. But if you're at a party, sky is the limit. You can ask about the DJ, you can ask about the food, you can just make a comment, or also, have fun, make fun of yourself. Oh my God, I've never been here. I'm so out of my comfort zone. That's something that people, I think they would like to talk to you. And the ice break is the thing that everybody is focused on, but it's the easiest one. I find more difficult the follow-up. Mm-hmm. Actually,
after the conference,
the conference, how to reach that person after. The day after, you just thank and say that it's been a pleasure. But after a week, you have to find an excuse to contact that person and say something. So that's the difficult part, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's the thing of the parties is so true. Like when I was working at Housing Anywhere, we used to go to these big conferences where we would meet international officers of the university. Now, some of them are really cool, and very, but typically, they're very structured and so on. They work in their office. But when they go to these conferences, it's like their day in the year, in which they can go crazy completely. And I managed to talk to some people that they would just ignore me completely by email, by phone, and so on. And we had beers together, we had fun together, we played bingo, we even won prizes together. And they just put the relation into a completely new level. So it was a real relationship. So that's very true. Parties are the best. Totally.
Yes. And also, if you don't have parties already organized by someone else, you can have your own party and invite people. Or if you can go, also passions bond people. So I think I already told you that once I attended a wine tasting course, and it was, full of potential clients and full of potential friends for me. So you have to be just creative in finding these chances.
Nice. And cool. But let's say if someone is a bit introverted and for some reason is being thrown into a networking event, that can be really frightening. Do you have maybe some strategies or tips, that we can use as introverts?
Well, it's something that I've already been asked, and I realized that it's a problem because it's frightening. It's scary, of course, but consider this. I'm not an introverted person. I'm a bit shy sometimes, but I can be defined as an extrovert person. But it's difficult for me as well to just run into someone and talk to him. It's something that I don't do when I'm at the supermarket. I don't do it usually. So the first thing to consider is that while in our social and in our leisure time, there is a difference between introverted and extroverted people. In that occasion, we're all on the same level because it's awkward for everybody. And that's the first secret. And the second is, it's something that I don't know if you can relate to this, but I think that shy people have a weapon, and it is their shyness.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, because consider that when you are attending an event and a very confident, a very secure guy approaches you and talk to you and says, I'm blah, 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 and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm doing... Naturally, it's stupid, but naturally, I put a barrier because I wonder, what does this guy want from me? Instead, if a shy person with a low tone of voice, maybe not so confident, approaches me, I'm more than willing to let's hear what this person is making an effort to talk to me. So it's important. And
true.
Yeah, I think that it is a strength. And last but not least, there is a trick. As in everything, there is a trick. You can approach another shy person. If you see that person in a corner who isn't talking to anyone, go there. You're not the most shy. He or she is. So go there.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I totally did that so many times. Like I'm quite sociable and extroverted as a person, but I always have a moment at the beginning in which I don't feel extremely comfortable, especially if it's a completely new environment, or I don't know, if I see that everyone is more experienced than me and so on. So still these conference with universities. At some point we went to a reception, and there was this one girl, like we were the same age, and she was also a little bit shy, but she was, I think, really like me, like extroverted but shy in that situation. So we found each other, and at some point we became best friends, Then turns out that she was working at Columbia University. So I was like, oh, that's so cool. Look at that. My friend is from Columbia University. And then basically we spent all the conference together, and we'd be like, oh, let's target those people. They seem open to talk. Let's go, And then we kind of supported each other. And I think that's also a beautiful part of networking, because you have someone, like you said, someone to rely on, and that's really cool.
Exactly. No, but I completely agree with you, because it wasn't a strategy. You do it naturally and you succeed in all the rules. You gain the friends. You were offering help, and at the same time receiving help from her, and you were just stronger. So mission accomplished,
Totally.
It's perfect. Yes. And I think that you have to consider that it is a bit different from a natural situation, from a common situation, because you're working and because the event is based on business or related to business. So it's okay to have a bit of awkwardness at the beginning. But, if you you know that you know me well, and you know that I have the imposter syndrome. So I can relate to the fear of not being the brightest crayon in the box in a situation. So, but you are not obliged to talk about the topic of the conference at a conference. You are allowed to talk about everything, and you are allowed, and maybe it's preferable if you do it, to talk about, to ask questions and let your interlocutor do the talk. So, I mean, it's easy if you try to follow the flow.
Nice. Do you maybe what's the funniest story that ever happened to you in a networking event?
Well, many. I did so many wrong things. I come from a region where we use vowels in a very exotic way. So my pronunciation in Italian is good, but sometimes it's funny. And I don't know how many times I said a word in a wrong way and then had fun of the sentence I've just pronounced. And you conquer everyone this way. So sometimes, yes, sometimes it's sense of humor. Sometimes it's just that once I ate something on the buffet, and the person next to me asked me, is it sweet or salted? And I was, sincerely saying sweet. Then he tried it and it's not sweet. And so we started talking about if this sort of sandwich was sweet or salted. It's stupid, but it is a way to start, and then you have to change subject at a point, otherwise it's weird. But yes, there are many, many weird episodes and funny moments.
Yeah, I remember a couple as well. It was sometimes even embarrassing, but yeah, that's let's forget about those.
It is embarrassing. It is embarrassing. But also in your private life, in your leisure time, you have embarrassing moments, and I think that's something that you can laugh about in the future. So it's a treasure.
Totally. And the funny thing is, well, you mentioned a lot, it's really about making friends. And to be honest, of all the people I met at conferences over the years, the ones I remember are the ones that I met on a personal level. I always remember this one lady, and she said something funny about her husband. And to this day, for me, it's Patrizia, the one that told me that thing about the husband. It's and I always ever in my mind, every time I think about that client, I'm like, oh yeah, that's her, and she sticks with me, while all the other people maybe was more professional, strictly professional, you tend to forget them. So it's
yes, of course, you have to stand out. You have to find a way to be remembered. And if you are a person who has something to say or something, again, to ask, if you're curious, people like curious interlocutors. Yes, the personal level is the one. That's why I always say, yes, you're a conference, you have to be professional, but at the same time, maybe you have just spent 4 hours listening to a topic. Do you want to spend the rest of the time talking about the same topic? It's not required to. It depends. If you want to be remembered as those very, very clever person, yes, but maybe the speakers knows well. Mm-hmm. They have already told something more important. And so personal level is the winning point. Mm-hmm. Passions, hobbies, if a color, just a color. I'm a woman. I have this sort of luck. I can, for instance, compliment bags or shoes. I like your shoes. I don't know how many times I've said, I love your shoes. And I wasn't lying. It was sincere.
Yeah.
So it's a way. I mean, you have just to cancel one filter that you normally have.
True that. And I think probably also I think we should stop looking at networking as a way to generate leads, like for our business. Like
the big
network,
mistake.
Indeed, because network is not leads, right? So network is a network.
Leads is sales. And it's or marketing or whatever. Networking, and it's an important part of our job. I mean, fundamental. But networking is different. You're not looking for someone just in order to sell something. You're looking for someone to learn something, to have fun with, to someone to help, someone to receive a piece of advice, a referral maybe. And if everything goes well, if your services are very good, and if you are trusted and so on, a client. But if you have to find a client, maybe, I mean, you have so many other ways to find clients. Networking is not the main objective on networking. You should go to a networking event saying to yourself, I won't sell anything today. It's the opposite of selling. I mean, that's my personal opinion, but it works. So
that's exactly what we want, like, do you see, guys, that's why here we like to interview people that are doing the job every day, right? Because then we can get these insights, which we don't read on the books. So thank you, Maria. And talking on another note, so, well, again, we're playing at home because we're both Italian. So that's amazing. You're based in Rome now, right? So how is it to network with Italians? Like, let's say someone like from the Netherlands wants to network with us. What would be the best way to approach us?
Oh, well, I don't know. Among Italians, food is a key, but I don't know. Because if I mean, for international networking, because we're pretty proud of our food, so sometimes it's a competitive level. So I don't know, maybe if you can ask about Italy, you can ask about for instance, if I talk to someone who is located I don't know where, I imagine I will be asked about Rome. It's such an amazing place. So, I mean, I expect 2 or 3 questions about the city I live in. There are no rules. I don't know. Every situation is different. And of course, there are some rules. So you don't have to mention religion. You don't have to mention politics and love, maybe. Because, they're awkward topics and you should avoid them. I know that it's obvious, but sometimes it happens that people...
You need to say it, totally.
At least if you're not accustomed to it, maybe you do it in good faith, but it doesn't work. It's a troubled way. But yes, in Italy, we are willing to talk about our culture, our history. Maybe if you're a man or football, soccer can be a very interesting topic. What else? I mean, we have so many points of excellence that can ring you a bell. So I would start from Italy strengths. Because we tend to complain about our country so much that when someone compliments, make a compliment, we're so happy. So
and proud as well.
Proud, yes, totally. Absolutely.
And I can totally relate. Like now, every time, I when people ask me where I'm from, so first of all, nobody really knows my region, but I really take the time to explain them because they're like, if you're curious about it, you should go to visit it. So then I start with my pitch. But indeed, like every time, someone asks me about our food, our culture, our country, I always feel so special, because in Italy, we have so many cool things, and then many things don't work, sure, but we're very proud, of our origin. So I agree that when people start talking to me about that, it's like, oh, you're Italian, I love Italy, and then you're immediately my friend.
Exactly. It hits home,
Indeed.
if you say, oh, that beautiful weather, oh, those wonderful monuments, or the pasta, marvelous pasta. I mean, it's something that I would do if I have a friend in Paris. I will say for sure it's the most amazing city I've ever been to. I mean, maybe I'm sincere, and I think that I'm going to make him happy or her happy, So yes, with us it's pretty. Also because as I already mentioned, we always complain about our country, because we know that we have so many problems and so many things that are wrong. I mean, but at the same time, we have also a very important heritage. So yes, conquer us all with your compliments.
Nice. So guys, wherever you're from, whenever you are talking to an Italian, do make sure to mention Italy, our culture, our food. We absolutely love that, and we're going to become best friends for life. So, Maria, thank you so much for this very insightful chat. Well, I always love to talk to you, and this time I'm so happy that we could do this in English so that everybody can hear your story and learn from you. So, everyone, I will make sure that you find the links below to join the mentorship program and join the BD School. And Maria, thank you so much for now, and see you very soon.
Thank you, Lucia. Thank you. Bye, you guys.
Bye. See you on the next episode, everyone.